Good morning. I'd like to provide you with an update regarding our investigation into this city's 20th homicide for 2014. The deceased in this matter had been identified as Douglas Parker of Toronto. Douglas was 20 years old at the time of his death. Douglas was fatally shot at 66 Walpole Avenue at approximately 8:50 p.m. in the evening on May 24th. He had arrived at the location in the company of friends by taxi. He was killed almost immediately after his arrival. He suffered several gunshot wounds to the chest area. His friends were also shot, but are recovering from their injuries. A 9mm handgun was recovered from the scene. I can tell you that our investigative team has spoken to several witnesses who were in the area at the time, and it is clear to us that Douglas was an intended target. The incident stemmed from a pre-existing dispute. Saturday, May 24th of this year was one of the first warm days, and there were dozens of Walpole community residents outside their home at the time of this incident. Children were out enjoying themselves in the community playground when the gunshots erupted. I would like to take this opportunity to invite members of that Walpole community to come forward and talk to police regarding their observations of that day in a meaningful way. Witness participation is a very important aspect of every police homicide investigation. We are interested in obtaining statements from those who were there that day. As it stands, we have identified an offender in this matter. A Canada-wide warrant has been issued for the arrest of Conrad Grizzle. Mr. Grizzle's date of birth is September 27th, 1993, and he's 20 years old. He is wanted for the offenses of second-degree murder and 2 counts of attempted murder. Last evening, attempts were made to apprehend Mr. Grizzle with the assistance of the Gun and Gangs Task Force, 55 Division Major Crime, numerous 55 Division uniform members, and the Emergency Task Force without success. So I'm here to send a very public message to any family, friends, associates, or acquaintances who may consider offering assistance to Mr. Grizzle in evading arrest. There are criminal consequences to providing him comfort, shelter, assistance in any way, and those who harbor Conrad Grizzle will be prosecuted accordingly. I would like Conrad Grizzle to know that we have alerted all borders, neighboring police services, and other supportive agencies with regards to our interest in his immediate apprehension. Conrad, my advice to you is to surrender yourself today. Every police officer on duty in the City of Toronto has your photograph. The Chief of Police has afforded our investigative team every resource available to bring you into custody. You will be arrested, so I urge you to seek the advice of someone you trust, to speak to competent counsel, and turn yourself in. Members of the public should be aware that Conrad Grizzle is considered armed and dangerous, and anyone knowing of his whereabouts should contact police immediately without attempting to approach him first. Thank you.
When you talk about the efforts that were made last night, was he in your sight? Do you believe that you almost had him and he got away? Just describe what happened.
Well, we attended an area of the city armed with a warrant of apprehension, the arrest warrant and an entry warrant, and he wasn't present at the location that we executed the warrant.
Is it your belief that somebody helped him escape?
No, that's not my belief. We just missed him.
Can you tell us more about this pre-existing dispute that resulted in the gunfire?
Yeah, I'm not going to be getting into the exact details of it, only the fact that there had been a pre-existing dispute that existed, so.
Mr. Grizzle and Parker specifically, or 2 groups?
Between several parties and them belonging to the opposing sides.
Gangs?
Not a gang issue per se.
Can you say, was Parker the main target, the only target, or was it his friends he and his friends that were the target in general?
I believe, yeah, the friends were targeted.
So are you worried that this could escalate beyond just what has happened already?
There's nothing to indicate that it will escalate.
Anything to indicate that this has anything to do with the dispute that Jonathan Kahn was involved in before he was killed?
No, absolutely no connection between Jonathan Kahn and this incident.
And when you say to the members of the community, you're inviting them to come forward in a meaningful way, what sort of response have you gotten so far, and how has it not been meaningful?
Well, I don't want to center people out with the information that has been provided to police and in what manner it has been provided, only that it would be nice if people would come and submit to a formal statement with police on the record.
So people have so far, have they been sort of cagey with their responses? They don't want to be identified as official witnesses?
There are people that were out in that area. As I said, the day was beautiful. It was daylight out. You could see it's a very intimate community. The children were playing in the playground. There were several witnesses, I believe, that haven't come forward, and I'm just urging them to come forward to members of that community to come forward and speak to the police in a meaningful way.
The 9mm that was found at the scene, who do you believe that belonged to?
I'm not going to comment on that.
Can you say if it was used in the shooting?
Again, I'm not going to be commenting. Only that we did recover a 9mm revolver.
Do you please believe that Grizzle is still in the city, or are you worried that he may have run off somewhere else?
I believe he's still in the area. Again, I'm going to give him the opportunity to seek the advice of competent counsel and turn himself into police today.
Have police been able to speak to other people who know Grizzle, maybe friends or family, and talk to them about his whereabouts?
We have canvassed people, and we haven't gotten very good results.
How long after Parker and his friends arrived in that taxi did the gunshots ring out?
Moments.
Do you think that there were people laying in wait for him, that Grizzle was laying in wait for them?
Upon his arrival, the gunshots erupted very, very soon after, and he was fatally shot.
Would you call this an ambush?
Not an ambush.
Would you say it was pre-planned, though, that if these guys show up, there's going to be trouble?
I wouldn't say that.
Is it your belief that Parker and his friends arrived for nefarious purposes, or
No.
were they there to visit friends, or what?
Yes, I believe that they were there in the area to visit friends, and the confrontation just happened.
Do you believe they knew each other? I mean, it just seems it's not gang related. There's a dispute. Obviously, they had to have some interaction if there was a reason to actually take this young man.
They are known to each other.
So how long have they, what's...
That I can't comment on. I don't know.
Were all of them targeted then, or was it just Parker? There's nobody accidentally shot in this, these were all targeted.
There were others that were shot. Douglas Parker was fatally shot.
He was the main target, or were all of them targeted?
I believe they were all targeted.
Is it your belief there's only one shooter?
We've got one offender named.
Is there return gunfire?
I'm not going to comment on that.
How do you think he's been able to evade police so far? I mean, we've been looking for him. You were going to a place where he was last night. How is he being able to not be...
Yesterday was our first attempt to apprehend Mr. Grizzle.
And can you tell us a little more about that?
We would like him to turn himself in immediately
So where are you looking for him?
in Toronto.
Does he live in 55 Division? Is that where you're there? Does he live in Walpole?
He's a resident of Toronto.
Of Walpole?
He's a resident of Toronto.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. That concludes today's conference.